My fellow Americans, it's time again for the State of the Union address. At the beginning of each year, the President heads to the U.S. Capitol to deliver his thoughts in what's usually the most watched and best attended political event of the year. Early on, presidents used to just send a written report to Congress, but Woodrow Wilson began the tradition of showing up and delivering his thoughts in person. So with the President at the podium and the Vice President and the Speaker of the House seated behind, wait a second, who are all these other people? Well, let's take a look at the seating chart. First off, every member of the House and Senate squeezes together in the benches around the House chamber. Usually, House lawmakers fill the middle, and senators are on the outer edges. Democrats and Republicans typically divide along party lines, Republicans on the right, Democrats on the left. But in recent years, some lawmakers have buddied up with a member of the other party, and we expect to see some of that again this year. But there are no assigned seats, so at least a few members of Congress spend the entire day of the speech saving themselves a seat along the center aisle of the House chamber.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States!
They want to make sure they get seen on TV, shaking hands with the President as he enters, or maybe just giving him a piece of their mind. The most frequent squatters are Congressman Eliot Engel of New York,
I was wondering, where's Eliot?
and Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee of Texas. Down in front, they set up some extra seats for the President's cabinet, members of the Supreme Court, and the Joint Chiefs of Staff. At least one cabinet secretary will not be there. That person is the designated survivor and told to stay away, just in case of a major disaster on the Hill. There's always a lot of theater that goes on during the speech itself. Reporters and pundits will be counting each round of applause and paying close attention to parts of the address that elicit bipartisan approval. Now, where does the First Lady fit into all of this? Well, up in the balcony, she usually sits with invited guests. They're nicknamed Skutniks, after Lenny Skutnik, who in January 1982 jumped into the icy Potomac River to help rescue victims of the Air Florida crash. Just a few days later, President Reagan was inspired and invited Skutnik to sit with Nancy Reagan, and ever since, presidents have invited everyday heroes, members of the military, sports stars, and foreign leaders to sit with the First Lady during the speech. With millions of people watching from their living rooms, it's not just the politicians and guests in the Capitol that matter, but at least now you know who they are.